Welcome back, everyone, to our Making It Fun career mode series in NASCAR Heat 3. So here we are at Daytona once again for the July race. And, of course, we all know how the season started at Daytona. It was a terrible race overall and one that I had to eventually just abandon. And we ultimately had to simulate our performance there. So here we are back at Daytona after a really successful finish at Talladega in the spring. So that gives us some sort of hope for Daytona. We'll have to see what sort of speed we have. Of course, we already know we're going to have that penalty because we don't have a super speedway chassis. But what's that going to do to our speed and our chances for a good finish? If you notice in the top right-hand corner, we are in 21st position in the Cup standings. And I keep talking about not just this season, but in previous seasons. Because of the way we're running this season, we need to be, first of all, in the top 20 in points, which is very hard for us to do without a fully upgraded car when you're simulating races. So, number one, that's kind of hard to do. But we're sitting here in 21st position. And the next thing is, of course, we need to have at least one victory, and we might be required to have more than that, just depending on how the standings work out. So let's very quickly take a look at the standings. Our point standings, again, you can see us in 21st position, and we're 31 points out of 20th. Now, that's a lot. That is certainly a lot, but a great finish at Daytona, and I'm talking great, would be like top 5. A good finish would be top 10, but we really need to focus on getting top 5s if at all possible because we got a lot of ground to make up. And then, of course, we've got that victory that is looming over our head that we still need to pick up. And who knows if we're going to be able to get that. The update recently to the game, update number 2 officially, has made the AI much more difficult. So that is a very good thing. It's going to make it very difficult for us to accomplish this. And I am certainly here for that. All right. Oh, one other thing I wanted to look at in the standings, not just the point standings, but if we come in and look at the playoff standings, what is very important for us is to come down toward the bottom and we see that there are currently 4 drivers that are in the playoffs without a victory. So that's why that victory is so important. And then, of course, we see Chase Elliott is the final of those drivers. So if we come back over to the point standings, we see Chase Elliott is up here in 12th. So there's no way we're going to get to 12th place in the points. So we're going to have that victory in addition to these great finishes. I've also done some upgrades to the car. 1, maybe actually 2 upgrades since we were last together for a race. So let's go ahead and take a look at those as we prepare for Daytona. And we'll actually come in to improve equipment. And you can see now we're at 100, 95, and 95. So my original plan was to go 100 and then 100 and leave this at 90. But what I found as I was going through the season is that the AI are so much tougher at this point. And again, they're different at every track. So some tracks are better than others. But overall, they were so much more improved that we're going to need very close to a fully upgraded car in order to have any shot, not only this year, but in future years. So I decided that it was worth it to go ahead and move the suspension to 95. And then if we happen to make enough money, you can see it's going to cost $7.8 million to get one of these up to 100. I don't know that we're going to make that, particularly before the playoffs, that amount of money. But if we do, then that's certainly how we'll be spending that. But for right now, we have a 100, 95, and 95 car. So we are in really good shape. We've got plenty of grip in the car, and we're just shy of fully upgraded. So it makes it a lot of fun right now in a different way than what we were having fun at places like Atlanta or Vegas. All right, so we're going to Daytona, of course, so let's go ahead and we're going to be using Speedway chassis number 1. So let's fully upgrade it as much as we can before we have to take that penalty. All right, we might as well use Stella here. We don't need the full 15 on suspension there to reach the maximum. And then looks like it's going to be a while before we need a Speedway chassis. So we'll keep going with the other Speedway. Short track chassis we won't need for quite a while. Let's go ahead and start that work plan. And you can see in bay number 1, 100, 95, and 95. By far the most upgraded car we've had so far in any of the series. So very exciting to actually be able to do some upgrades and not think that we're just going to blow these guys away. So very exciting. We're coming back for Daytona, and we hope, really, really hope, that we can have a good race. I'll see you at the track. All right, folks, it is race time here at Daytona, and I'm going to level with you right from the start. This is now multiple restarts of me trying to run this race. And my frustration level at this point with the game is at an all-time high. I hate to have to say that, but I don't know what happened with the update other than the good fact that the AI are more competitive now. Much more competitive, so that's good. I really like that part of it, but it also seems like they've gotten ultra aggressive to the point where I'm having a very hard time, not just at this track, but at any track, or at most of the tracks I should say. I'm having a very hard time just having a race with these guys without a wreck. It is very disconcerting right now, the number of times that I'm just simply getting run over. These guys will come right down across my nose on corner entry when they're not even close to being clear and run me off the track. Same thing happens on corner exit. Also, sometimes these guys will just hit us in the right rear, turn us into the wall. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that's happening. And I understand some of that's going to happen when you're running 40 cars on one track this close together. Ouch, there's another hit in the right rear for us. But, I mean, it just seems to be so excessive at this point that it is making it very hard for me to have fun doing one of these races. But we're going to hang in there. We're going to give it one more shot. And if this race goes well, then you guys will end up seeing it on the channel. If it doesn't, then it'll be like some of the other attempts I've made at races during this particular season that have simply ended with me getting very frustrated, ending the race, and then ultimately simulating the race for results. So needless to say, this season has not gone well from a racing point of view. We've had a few bright spots. You know, Vegas for sure is a shining bright spot for us, but there have been very, very few of those. So just keep in mind with the number of races that you're going to see throughout the season versus the number of races that I simulate, keep in mind that that's not necessarily by design. I'm simply trying to run some of these races, and if they turn out well, then they show up on the channel. If they don't, then it probably means that it was a bad race, and I got frustrated and just decided it wasn't worth it anymore. But who knows? The AI vary track to track in how they drive, how strong they are, how fast they are, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Still there.
All right, so we're up to 25th, which is not bad.
Still there.
We'll certainly take any and all positions we can get. Car's handling just fine. Of course, we know we don't really have the speed, but that's to be expected. I want to say that our chassis after the penalty was something like 88, 85, and 85, something along those lines. So we're well off of the chassis we would need to really be able to run with these guys, particularly in qualifying. but that's okay. I'm going to try to give these guys a little bit of room, but at the same time, I got to race with them because that's the only way we're going to make up any spots. But I'm just trying to be as careful as I can and looking out for, openings where we can make moves and stay out of trouble, and sometimes just to stay out of trouble. Even if I know we're probably going to lose a spot or two, just staying out of trouble sometimes is my primary goal.
Still there.
All right, ooh, we got a nice run here, and if the 21 will stay down, he did not. So that's going to hurt us on the draft. And yeah, they're just going to go right back by. So we had position there, and we're looking good, but the 21 did not come down to draft with us. All right, so it looks like Reagan is going to try to take it three wide. He got cut off. All right, so far so good. This is certainly better than what I've been doing in some of the other attempts. We've managed to make it nearly to the end of stage 1, and we've not wrecked yet. So we'll take the positives where we can find them. All right, we got a little bit of a draft here. Do we have enough to get position? Yes. We're in 16th, which means we're within shouting distance of the top 10. All right, we're now up to 12th. All right, here we go. Come on, let's get some stage points here. Oh, we need one more spot to get at least a point.
Stay low, still there. Stay on the bottom.
All right, we're going to give it everything we've got. Coming to the line. We have no drafting help. Somebody pull down here and give us some help. There we go. Is it enough? And it is. We just managed to get 1 point. All right, we'll take it. We need all the help we can get. And now you can see 35 laps of fuel remaining, only 31 laps on the track remaining, so no reason to pit. Tires are certainly a non-issue. The only bad thing here is we're starting on the outside lane, so that's not necessarily where we want to be, but we're going to make the best of it, and hopefully we can get down to the bottom pretty quickly. Oh, ow, oh! Come on, guys. Come on. All right, folks. There you go. The manifestation of what has happened so many times recently in this game. And not just, as I said, it's not just at Daytona. Daytona, you can understand, the big one and all that kind of thing. But this is certainly not the first time it's happened. And it's not the only track it's happened at. So we're done at this point. It is no longer fun for me to run this race. Yes, we could come in and get repairs and go through all of that, but at this point I just don't want to anymore. It has ruined my enjoyment of the game. So I'm gonna back out and we'll just see what happens in future races. We'll give it another shot at another track. All right, so now that we're back at the main menu, let's go ahead and simulate yet another race that I didn't originally intend to simulate. And there we go, 88, 85, and 85 with a -12 penalty. Thank you very much. And 29th, there we go. That's going to help us once again in the points. Oh, boy. All right, what's next on the calendar? Is there another chance for us to have a good race? Okay, Kentucky. Now, this is probably not one I'm going to do a whole lot with, but we'll just have to see. I may have to step away from the game for a little while and let myself calm down from all of the frustration I've had recently. So that's going to do it for now. Thank you very much for joining me and hanging in there as we will try to continue our Making It Fun series in NASCAR Heat 3.